नमः सर्वेभ्यः। We'll start with the invocatory prayers for this 28th session on Vedanta Karikavali. Sriman Venkatanathāryah Kavitārkikakesari Vedantacāryavaryo me sannidhattam sadāhrudi Dhyanānandamayam devam nirmalaspatikākritim ādhāram sarvavidyanām hayagrivamupaśmahe yo nityamachyutapadāṃ bhujayugmarukmavyāmohatastaditarāणि trināya mene अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये श्रीमद्रमाधवोपज्ञां नत्वाचार्यपरम्परां पूर्वे लक्ष्मणसिद्धान्तकारिकां कारिकावली। Namaste to all of you. In the last session, we had actually missed to explain the meanings of one of the slides. It was the I think the 9th one about the Nitya Vibhuti Nirupana. The 14th and the 15th Karikas were somehow missed out, which I discovered towards the end, but then it was too late. So let me explain the meanings of the two Karikas now. Tripad Vibhuti Vaikuntha Paravyomadi Shabdhita Vibhutiriyam Ishasya Mahati Sumahiyate. Tripad Vibhuti. The Nitya Vibhuti has one more name, which is called as Tripad Vibhuti. If the entire universe is believed to be made of 4 parts, then 3/4 of it is actually the Nitya Vibhuti. That's why that could be one of the reasons why it got the name as Tripad. It's also called as Vaikuntha and Paravyoma. Adi, it has other names also. And this Vibhuti, Ishasya Mahati Sumahiyate, it belongs to Isha or Paramatma and is regarded, it is given utmost regard. Let me go through the commentary. Nitya Vibhutehe Namantaranyah Tripaditi. Nitya Vibhutehe Namantarani, other names being said, Tripaditi. Tripad Vibhutiriti, Sri Vaikunthamiti, Paramyomayiti, Chayiti. Shabda Bhagini means because of Napumsaka Linga. Ishvarasya Savisheshen Sarvaseshinaha. Now this is a technical term in the Vishita Veda school of Vedanta. The Ishvara is called as Sarvasheshi. He is the ultimate master. He is the master of all the things, including the Jivas and Jagat. They are called as Shesha Bhutas for him. Isha is the ultimate master, the Paramatma. The rest are all subordinate to him. So he is called as Sarvasheshi, which means even those Devatas who are worshipped by a lot of people are also Shesha Bhutas to the Paramatma. They may be Sheshis to some of the entities of people, but still they would be Sheshas to the Paramatma. That's why it's called as Sarvasheshi. To the Sarvasheshi or Isha or Ishvara or Bhagavan, this Vibhuti, Mahati Leela Vibhutyapekshya Atyantam Mahati. Mahati means big actually. But when you compare to Leela Vibhuti itself is quite big. When compared to Leela Vibhuti, Atyantam Mahati, Sutara Mahiyate Pujyate. Therefore it is prized or preyed upon, or treated with a lot of regard. Mahapujayam iti dhatuhu. So mahiyate, sumahiyate, the root of the verbal form is mahapujayam. And the commentator gives the Shruti Vakya as a pramana, tatvipraso vipanyavo jagruvagam sasamindate. It is found in the Purusha Sukta and many other places. Ityukta ritya nitya suribihi sada stuyamana vartate ityartaha. As we discussed before, within the jivas, there is a class of jivas called as Nitya Suris or Nitya Jivas, who have never been in the world of samsara, and in this, the sankalpa of the Paramatma is the reason. Because the Paramatma has a sankalpa in that fashion, there are some jivas who have always been with him in the Sri Vaikunta or Nitya Vibhuti, and who have always been experiencing Brahman or Paramatma. Sada Stuyamana. This Sada includes even the past. So this is used as an evidence by the school of Vishishta Vedanta to consider a class of jivas called as Nitya Suris. Nitya Suribihi Sada Stuyamana Vartate Ityartha. Next. Dvadasha Varna Upetam Aneka Shata Gopuram Vaikuntham Nama Nagaram Etasyam Pravijrimbhate. Within this Nitya Vibhuti, there is a Nagara or a city called as Vaikuntha, which is covered with 12 layers, and there is a Aneka Shata Gopuram. There are a lot of Gopuras are there, and within that Vaikuntha Nama Nagaram Etasyam Pravijimbate. Within this area lies the Nagara called as Vaikuntha. Tatra, again, just to repeat, in stating all these things, all these aspects about Nitya Vibhuti, Shruti and Smriti are the pramana. It is not out of imagination. So there are some Shruti Vakyas and Agamas which explain in detail about the Nitya Vibhuti. The commentary, Tatra Nitya Vibhutau Divya Nagaram Aha Dvadasheti. In the Nitya Vibhuti, there is a Divya Nagara beginning with the words Dvadasha Avarana. Tatra Nitya Vibhutau Dvadashabhihi Avaranaihi Prakaraihi Avatam Anekashata Sankyaka Gopura Virajitam Vaikunthakyam. Covered with enveloped with 12 layers of prakaras. Prakara is the wall, the wall that we see in forts. Just like in places like Srirangam, you can see the walls surrounding the temple or the main shrine. So there are 12, you can say, forts. I mean, the walls like this, and within that, Aneka Shata Sankyaka Gopura Virajitam. Many Gopuras are there in this Vaikunthakyam, Sri Vaikuntha Namakam, Divya Nagaramapi, Etasya Bhagavato Bhogartam Vijrimbate Prakashate. Bhagavataha, it is for the pleasure or bhoga of Bhagavan that such a Nagara exists. So this was the only slide which we left to deal with last class. These we saw. So with this we will finish with the Nitya Vibhuti, and then we will take up the most interesting aspect about Dharma Bhuta Jnana. Yeah. Before we go into Dharma Bhuta Jnana, let us revise what we have seen already. In our experience, we can account for at least three things. One is the seer, the other one is the seen, and in the middle we have the process of seeing. A thinker, thinking, and what is being thought. All these three are accepted to be distinct. But what is the level of reality in each of these three? And where does the process of thinking or seeing exactly fit in? Is it to the Prakriti or is it to the Jivatma? This is the point of refutation, disagreement between the schools of philosophy. So there is one entity in the three which is called as a Pramatha. Pramatha means the knower, the Jivatma, who also has the capability to know. In Vishishtadvaita, this Pramata is Satyam. which means the Jivatma has got the ability to know, K-N-O-W. And this Pramata is identified as the Jivatma who is of the form of Jnana. And we call that Jnana as Swarupa Jnana or Dharmic Jnana, which we'll see in the coming slides. Why? Because if you say only Jnana, then there may arise a confusion because the school accepts one more Jnana called as Dharma Bhuta Jnana. That is what the this chapter is about, Dharma Bhuta Jnana. But just to recollect what we saw earlier, the Jivatma is considered to be possessed of or possessing two Jnanas. One is a substratum, that is the Swarupa Jnana, with which the Jivatma experiences its own awareness, or the Swarupa Jnana or the Jivatma is self-revealing to itself. The Jivatma is self-aware naturally. It does not need any other Jnana to be aware of itself. When we see the Nyaya Vaisheshika school, we can appreciate this. Then comes the Pramana or Jnanam, the Dharma Bhuta Jnana, with which the Jivatma knows things other than itself. The Jivatma in his bonded state comes to know of the existence of the world through Dharma Bhuta Jnana, and once he is liberated, he gets the capacity to experience everything simultaneously. He becomes a Sarvagnya, because the Dharma Bhuta Jnana, which is obstructed during the bonded state, has no obstructions once he gets released, once he becomes a Mukta. And just like the Nityas, Nitya Suryas and Ishvara, then to the Muktatma, the Dharma Bhuta Jnana is unimpeded. Therefore, he is able to simultaneously experience everything. Next, Prameya. Prameyam is the objects of experience or objects of knowledge. This is also considered to be real by this school. Okay, now let us look at this table to understand the difference between. I've taken covered let us say the 6 Astika schools briefly. Let us look at Nyaya Vaisheshika. I'm just checking if there are any questions which can be addressed. Okay, so that's the reason I'm no questions. Okay. Okay. Nyaya Vaisheshika, they also deem the Pramata to be real, the Jivatma to be real, but he does not possess the Pramatrutvam naturally. He does not even know himself naturally, which means, to put it simply, a Jivatma would require a body, a functional body, to be aware of himself and to be aware of the body and the outside world. He does not have the natural capability to know. Next, the Pramana or the Jnanam, it belongs to the Jiva. It's a dharma of the Jiva. It is a guna, but that guna is not eternal, which means it is created and it gets destroyed also. It does not stay longer, and it is not natural in the sense there is a process involved which requires the presence of the body. If there were no Sharira, then the Jivatma would not know anything else. Now, Prameya is real. It is not actually pertinent to this discussion, but still I just made a point on that. The world is real for them. So let me repeat, Nyaya Vaisheshika school, they do accept Atma. Atma is Jiva for them. Many Jivas are there. They do accept bondage, but what they say is that the knowledge is not, Jnana is not an intrinsic property, intrinsic dharma of the Jivatma. It is not Naisargika. it is artificial. It is with a upadhi. Sharira is upadhi, and the mind has to be functioning. Only when the mind functions, the Jivatma, with the help of the mind, knows himself as well as knows the rest of the world. Therefore, they are like more like how we talk about knowledge in these days, like a data. So data is created artificially, let us say, into the computer, and at some point it is deleted. In the same way, the Nyaya Vaisheshika school say jnana is a guna, and this guna is created. Whenever we see an object, it can be related to the modern days that a data is being created in the Jivatma, but then the data is not eternal. The created data would in turn create a samskara and it will disappear. It gets destroyed. So it would stay for a very short period. After staying, it would create a samskara and then it would die off. The samskara will be there, and whenever there is a chance for the samskara to come out, then smriti arises. Okay, let us not go into the detail now. That's how they understand. Next, why have I put Sankhya and Advaita together? Because let us look at Sankhya first. Sankhya accepts two entities, Prakriti and Purusha. The Purusha, they say the Purusha as a Nyaha. Nyaha means knower, but he can know only about himself. So the actual Pramata would be the Antakarana and not the Jiva himself. It's a very interesting, I mean, this is my thought process which I'm sharing now. We all have faith towards our own sampradaya or the school which you belong to. But sometimes I feel we all should come together and take science as a Purva Paksha and then discuss how exactly knowledge arises. Of course, some schools they believe in Shruti, that's fine. But the highest level of understanding is okay with the Shruti, but to the details, like the process of perception, science gives a different picture. And one of the reasons why I'm saying is that if you observe man's creations, man follows the model of Prakriti. Man does not create any new model. Like if you look at how a camera works, if you look at how a video instrument works, it just reflects how we work. It just reflects how the eyes work. So which means the image of the objects are brought to the camera and we are able to see with the camera. It's a very interesting area that why I'm saying is that sometimes it looks to me if you're discussing on archaic aspects of these processes, uh, so it would be good if you have a kind of sammelan of the scholars to discuss if at all it makes sense to compare with science, because one of the duties that we have is to take this sampradaya forward to the next generation. Now the next generation, they are more rooted in scientific developments. If you're going to talk about something like this, they may not be able to appreciate these because they may not be able to see value in this unless we make a comparison with science and then say this is how science is and this is how we think and this is where we meet and this is where we disagree. So something like that, something has to happen. That's just a viewpoint that I shared here. So why I mentioned this, because Sankhya very beautifully it it somewhat matches with science, because in science they say the brain, everything is passed on to the brain, and then that's where the awareness is. Like the dreams also they all happen in the brain basically, and when we sleep we are able to visualize. In the same way Sankhya says chitta vritti is there, and the buddhi what it does is it processes everything and then shows for the jivatma. Though the jivatma is not a real knower of the outside world, still it is being presented to him. He somehow is aware of what is happening. So though the actual knowership is not with him, still he becomes a knower because of the proximity of the with the buddhi, antakarana, etc. So basically, what they say is that it is a prakriti which knows. Jnana belongs to the prakriti. Just like if you have a computer before you, we don't do anything, the computer is accessing everything and the presents information to us, then we just have the ability to see, that's it. But in reality we also process, but this is just to make the principle of Sankhya to sound a little more easier. What they say is that a spectator does nothing, everything is being processed and given to him. Therefore, the process of jnana happens in the Prakriti. And Prameya, the world is real for them. Now, going to Advaita, though Advaita says that Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, but at the Vyavaharika level, they do agree that the world exists, and they do accept that knowledge takes place or jnana is there. But again, due to their compulsions with the system, what they say is that the Jivatma is not the knower, the Antakarana is the knower. Of course, for practical purposes, we may say Jiva is a knower, but if you really look at what is happening, the Antakarana, the Chitta, the Buddhi, etc., they, the box, that actually knows. And the Chitta Vritti is actually Jnana. I mean, the process of knowing is Chitta Vritti. Something goes out, what goes out is a Chitta Vritti. Vritti of the Chitta, it goes out, and then, like the Kedara, they give an example of how the water goes around the field and then covers the field. Like this, Chitta Vritti goes around the object, then presents the object to the Antakarana. And the Jivatma, because of ignorance, he is things he is perceiving, etc., etc. But if you look at the psychic apparatus, this is not my words, this is the words of the great scholar Hiriyanna. He says the psychic apparatus of the Sankhya is taken by the Advaitins as well. And of course, the world is unreal. Of course, they say Anirvachaniya. We are not going to discuss that now. So the point is now Sankhya and Advaita, Prakriti is the knower. The process of knowing, the process of awareness happens at the level of Prakriti. Because the Jivatma is placed very closely with the Prakriti, he watches what is happening, as we see in the movies, or like we step into a TV showroom. A lot of TVs are kept there and a lot of channels are going on. So you just go there and watch all of them. That's it. That's how the body is processing everything, and the Jivatma, he does not do anything, but still he is a party to the what is happening. He is a spectator, let us say, but he is getting affected. That's a different issue. Now, Mimamsa, what they say is that Pramata is the Jiva, but Jnana, like the Nyaya Vaisheshika, they say Jnana is something which is created and therefore not eternal, and for them the world is real. Then coming to Vishishtadvaita, what they say is Jiva is a natural knower. He knows, he is aware of himself naturally, and he is aware of the outside world naturally. Of course, he needs the body, but he has his own jnana called as Dharmabhuta jnana, which is his property, which is his guna, through which he is able to know the external world. But in the bonded state, the Dharmabhuta jnana cannot function on its own. It requires the help of the Sharira. Thus, he has two jnanas, or rather, despite being or besides being a jnana swarupa, the Jivatma has one more jnana which is used by him to perceive the outside world. That's called as Dharma Bhuta Jnana, and the Prameya is also real for them. Okay, it's quite interesting this topic because from our experience, everybody, we all know, if you look at all the living beings, they all have jnana. They all infer, they all calculate. If you look at animals chasing mutually, they're able to calculate the speed. When a tiger chases a deer, let us say, it knows when to speed up or when to slow down. Let's take our examples. When we ride a two-wheeler, when we drive a car, we are able to see the speed of the other vehicles and act accordingly. So, which means something is going out and capturing the information for us. Now, what exactly is going out? That is the how do the philosophers account for it? That's the most interesting aspect. Why I am giving this background is that only if we keep this background in our mind, then we can understand the Dharmabhuta Jnana better. Just to add a last point here, the Nyaya Vaisheshika school, what they say is Indriyas like the eyes themselves, they themselves travel outside. Sankhya Advaita, Chitta Vritti, the Chitta through the Indriyas they go out. Mimamsa, I'm not very clear, I need to study more. Vishishtadvaita, it is a Dharma Bhuta Jnana which travels along with the Indriyas. That is their point. So Dharma Bhuta Jnana also goes out with the Indriyas and then it is able to get the information for the Jivatma. Okay. With this background, we go to the next slide. The first karika of the first karika, Dharmo bhavati yajnanam bhadhipe yathatmanoho tadharma bhuta vijnanam nityam nityeshvareshu tat. Dharmo bhavati yajnanam. The commentator, who is also the editor for this text, Sri Varadacharya, he has found two pata bhedas. One is dharmo bhavati, other one is dharmi bhavati. But he has chosen to keep the dharmo bhavati pata as a right one. Of course, he is going to refer to the other pata in the commentary. So dharmo bhavati yajnanam, that jnanam which becomes a dharma or an attribute. Like how? Like the prabha or the radiance of a deepa. Yatha atmanoho. So for the atma, that jnana which becomes a dharma, which is like a dharma, that is called as dharma bhuta vijnanam or dharma bhuta jnanam. He has added this prefix upasarga v for the space requirements. Otherwise, it is called as dharma bhuta jnanam. And it is nitya. It is eternal for nityas and ishvara. Nityeshvareshu, it is eternal. There is never a change in the Dharma Bhuta Jnana of Nityasuris and Ishvara. That's why I kept a picture here to understand. Just like the sun has a base, the sun is there. Though the sun is in one place, its illumination, its luminosity or its rays spread everywhere. In the same way, the Jivatmas can be compared to the sun. Like there is a core which does not go anywhere. From that core, the Dharma Bhuta Jnana emanates. The Dharma Bhuta Jnana proceeds. That core is called as Swarupa Jnana, and the whatever is proceeding, the rays, that is called as the Dharma Bhuta Jnana. Just to give an example. Atha Dharma Bhuta Jnanam Nirupayitum Upakramate Dharma iti. Now, Dharma Bhuta, now the Karikavali author begins the Karika with the word Dharma because he wants to explain the Dharma Bhuta Jnana. Yatha Prabha Deepa Dharmataya Bhati. Just like how the Prabha or the radiance, it shines as by being an attribute to the Deepa, to the lamp. Tata Jnanamapi Atma Dharmataya Bhati Ityartaha. In the same way, the Jnana, there is a Jnana which also shines by being a dharma or a property to the Atma. Jnana Swarupasya Atmanaha Vyavachedaya Dharma iti Visheshanam. We simply say Jnana and not qualified with the word Dharma, then what happens is it will create a confusion. Why? Because the Jnana Swarupa is also, or rather the Atma is of Jnana Swarupa. So the term Jnana can mean Atma also. So that's why the term Dharma is also used. Dharma iti Visheshanam. Because the Karika would have just begun Yad Jnanam Atmanaha Asti Sambhavati like this. But then the Atma is also Jnana Swarupa. Therefore, Dharma is being added to qualify. Now the commentator chooses to explain how we can understand the other pata. If the Karika were to begin with Dharmi Bhavati instead of Dharmo Bhavati, then he says Dharmi Bhavati iti pate Dharmo Bhavati ityarte. Even if the Karika had is believed to be beginning with Dharmi, then also it has to be understood as Dharma only. Then he quotes some grammatical rules. Kribhastyoge sampadhyakartari chvihi iti chvi pratyaha. Chvi pratyaha gives the word dharmi basically. Abhuta tadbhavaschatra yathavat anavastitopi shabda sadhutva sampattaye yatha katanchit nirvahyaha. See, we are not going to deal with the grammatical part here, but he quotes relevant grammatical rules and then says somehow we have to make sure that if it were dharmi also, it refers to the dharma aspect of the jnanam. Okay, yatha katanchit nirvahyah. Atra ayam ashayah. Now this is what is the intention. Jnanam dvividham dharmi bhutam dharma bhutam cheti. Jnana is twofold. One is dharmi bhuta, other one is dharma bhuta. Tatra adhyam jiva ishvarascha. Adhyam means dharmi bhuta. What is dharmi bhuta jnana? It actually refers to the jivatmas and ishvara. They are all atmas. So whenever we say atma, that atma is equal to dharmi bhutam. Okay. Antyam tesham. Antyam is dharma bhutam. Now what is dharma bhutam? Dharma bhutam is tesham jiveshwaranam guna bhutam. It is a dharma or property. It is also called by the other names mati, buddhi, anubhuti, adi, padavachyam. So this dharma bhuta jnana has names like mati, buddhi, anubhuti, etc. Okay. Now the commentator chooses to explain in detail about dharma bhuta jnana. It gets technical at some places, but I will try to make it keep it at a high level, not get into the real details, because this course is primarily aimed at for beginners, and we would uh, perhaps if there is a next opportunity, then we can take things in detail. Avabhasatvam ubhayanugatam pravritti nimitvam. Avabhasatvam means self-revealing, or that glowing, the tendency to glow, that is ubhaya anugatam, which means both the dharmi jnana and the dharma bhuta jnana, they have this avabhasatvam in them. Ubhaya anugatam artha prakashatvam tu dharma bhuta jnanasya. Now the distinction between these two is that though both they glow, which means they reveal themselves, but despite or besides revealing itself, the dharma bhuta jnana, it reveals an object also. Whereas the dharmic jnana, it is self-revealing. It does not reveal anything else. Therefore, we cannot say that it reveals itself to itself. No. Dharmic jnana is self-revealing, that's it. Which means there is no other object for its revelation. Whereas the dharma bhuta jnana, besides revealing itself, reveals an object about which we have the jnana. So dharma bhuta jnana would have an object. While showing the object to us, it shows itself and it shows the object as well. That's why artha prakashatvam and avabhasatvam. Let me repeat quickly. The dharmic jnana, it is self-revealing. It does not reveal anything else. Therefore, there is no object of revelation for the dharmic jnana. But dharma bhuta jnana, what it does is, besides revealing itself to the dharmic jnana, it also reveals an object. Okay. Okay. Just to add one thing, dharma bhuta jnana does not know itself because it is jada. Dharma bhuta jnana is achetana. It's achetana. It does not know its own presence. But it reveals its presence to the jivatma while it reveals the presence of an object. Okay. Jnana swarupasya atmanah jnanameva katam guno bhavitum arhati iti vishaye. Now, there arises a confusion, a doubt. Jnana swarupasya atmanah. You say atma is jnana swarupa. Then you again say jnana is a guna of the atma. How can this happen? If there is a doubt, vishayaha means doubt. If there is a doubt, then deepa prabha drishtantameva, drishtantena, deepa and its prabha. So we find lamps, just like we took the example of sun in the previous slide, and there is a prabha or the radiation or the radiance that proceeds from the lamps. So we find the lamp to be placed somewhere in a place, but yet the rays proceed from the lamp to as much it can. That depends on the strength of the fire in it, or the amount of the quantity of the base fire. In the same way, we say just now that light which proceeds is also of the same nature of the base lamp. It is not different from it. That is, the prabha is same as deepa. Just like how the sun's rays, if they proceed from the sun and then reach earth, still we feel the heat with the sun's rays, which means that they are not non-different from the sun. Yet they proceed, and therefore they are considered to be a property of the sun. In the same way, jnana is considered to be a guna for the swarupa jnana. Yato tejo rupayaha eva dvipajwalayaha tejo rupa prabha guno bhavati tathati. Yatha tejo rupaya eva dvipajwala, the jwala is present there, which is of the form of tejas, and the prabha is also the tejo rupa only. In the same way, dharmabhuta jnana can exist as a guna to the swarupa jnana. Nanu. When you begin a sentence with nanu in Shastra, which means that's a Purva Paksha. Nanu jnanam nama adravyam dravyashito guna iti prasiddhihi. Now this is the Purva Paksha is Nayayika, the school of Nyaya, who believe, as we saw earlier, for them jnana is a guna, which means it's a adravya. The Nayayika state very clearly that guna and dravya are mutually exclusive. A padartha cannot be both a guna and a dravya. It can either be a dravya or guna. It cannot be both. And they have classified jnana to be a guna. So the commentator chooses to take the school of Nyaya and then says, Nanu jnanam nama adravyam dravyashritaha gunaha. It depends on it is ashrita, okay, on what? On a dravya, that is the atma. So jnana is a guna, one of the 24 gunas, and it needs an ashraya, which is a dravya, that is atma, because all gunas, they need an ashraya. Without an ashraya, gunas cannot exist. Therefore, they say that jnana is a guna. Okay. Tatha sati katam atmanah dravyasya adраvyatmaka jnana rupatvam iti chete. Now, if that is the case, how can atma, which is a dravya, for it, how can there be an adravyatmaka jnana swarupam iti chet? How can it possess guna, and how can you call it as the guna as dravya? Basically, the point is that jnana is a guna. It cannot be given the status of a dravya, because atma is the dravya. If atma is a dravya, then jnana has to be a guna residing in it. Okay, both cannot be dravya. Jnanasya dravyatmakatvat iti bhrumaha. Now the reply given to Nayayikas is that jnana is dravyatmaka for us. We will prove it. Okay. So we are not taking jnana as a guna. For us, jnana is a dravya. In fact, the jiva is dravya only. I mean the jnana only. Okay. Okay. Let us go further. It will be clear. Aghamopi hi satyam jnana manantam brahma iti brahmano jnana swarupatam aha. And Agama is here the Vedas. They also say that Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma iti Brahmanaha Jnana Swarupatam aha. It shows Brahma is of the form of Jnana Swarupa, or Brahma Swarupa is Jnana. Now, since he has quoted this statement, now he takes up another Purva Pakshas who do not agree with what this statement actually means. ननु तत्र ज्ञानशब्दे अन्तोदात्तबलादर्शे आद्यचि ज्ञानवत्वम् एव अर्थ इति चेत् तन्न. Now there is again one more technical usage here, Antodatta which means that we know that story in the Shruti. There is a person who does a sacrifice to beget a son who will kill Indra Shatru, But antodhata, because of the udata in the anta final letter, the meaning gets reversed. He begets a son who will be killed by Indra. The same way in the phrase there are swaras, which we are not giving it here. When you apply this antodhata rule here and adhyachi, what happens is that jnanavatvam eva arthaha iti chete. Jnanavatvam means having a jnana. Having a jnana. Not being jnana, but having a jnana. If you say tatra jnana shabde, if you with the jnana shabda, if you say the Brahman possesses jnana, then another Vedic statement is taken, Vijnanam Anandam Brahma iti Shrutyantara Anugunyenapi Atra Anugunyena Atrapi Bahulakat Antodhatatam Ashritya Jnana Swarupatvaseva Vaktavyatvat. The essence of these two lines is that you can take, you cannot take jnana to be a guna of Brahman. Brahman is only jnana swarupa. Okay, if you because both these Shruti Vakyas, they have been interpreted differently. If you interpret one in one way, other one other way, then it will not be matching. Therefore, they say if you apply the same rule, antodhata baladasha, then it would mean that Shrutyantara Anugunyena Atrapi. If you interpret that statement as Vijnanam Anandam Brahma, where Brahman is of Jnana Swarupa, Vijnana Swarupa, then Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma also, it should say that Brahma is Jnana Swarupa, and you cannot say that it possesses Jnana. Nanu evamapi agama balat Jnana Rupa Guna eva Brahma astu. Then one more argument saying that let Brahman be only the Guna and not the Dravya, which means Tatacha Kevalam Anubhuti Reva Brahma. Only that Anubhuti, the experiencing jnana is Brahman, and it does not have any substratum as jnana. These are the Purvapaksha to refute that you cannot accept both. Either you keep Brahman as Swarupa jnana or Brahman as Anubhuti jnana. Anubhutescha gunatvat tatra jnanantara asambhavaha gune guna anangikarat. If you take Anubhuti only as Brahman, because what is Atma? If you try to understand what is Atma, several schools put forth several thoughts. Some of them say only the Swarupa Jnana is Atma. Other people say only that the experience is Atma. And when there is no experience, it ceases to exist and so on. So now if Anubhuti is a Gunatvat, Anubhuti is a Guna, is a property, Guna, then Jnanantra Asambhavaha. If you take Brahman to be only a Guna and not a Dravya, then you cannot accept one more jnana to it. Why? Because gune guna anangikarat. This is a rule accepted by all philosophers that a guna cannot be a ashraya for another guna. A guna can reside only in a dravya. Like there's a black shirt. Shirt is the dravya and black is the color. Now we cannot accept one more guna for that black in it. Okay, if there is one more property we are going to explain, then that needs to have one more dravya, and that ashraya cannot be a guna. This is accepted by all schools. So if you take Brahman as only anubhuti, then you cannot accept any other guna in that. Why? Because gune guna anangikarat. Nahi rupadau gune gunantaram rupad upalabhamahe iti chete. Why? Because that's what I said. In the guna like rupa, you do not accept one more rupa. Why? Because gune guna anangikarat. Atra itham vaktavyam. Then we say this. यदि नैयायिक पक्षपातेन अद्रव्यम गुण इति पक्षम अवलंब्य वितर्क्यते तदा गुणस्य अद्रव्यस्य कंचित् आश्रयम् अंतरा अवस्थिरपि न दृष्टचरा इति ज्ञानरूपस्य ब्रह्मणः कश्चित् आश्रयो अभ्युपगन्तव्यो भवति. Now, if you say that नैयायिक पक्षपातेन अद्रव्यम गुण इति पक्षम अवलंब्य, guna is not dravya, then guna must exist in a dravya. Okay, that's the argument. A guna is not dravya, which means a guna cannot exist by its own. it needs a dravya for ashraya, then jnana rupasya brahmanah kaschid ashrayah abhyogantavya. Then if you take that argument, then Brahman is jnana. That is, see, the point is here, Brahman is accepted as jnana, but which jnana it is? Is it Swarupa jnana or Anubhuti jnana? Now, if it is Anubhuti jnana, you cannot accept one more jnana because one guna cannot be an ashraya for another guna. Now, the point here is that if you accept jnana, Brahman as jnana, and that jnana is guna, then that guna must have an ashraya. And that ashraya cannot be another guna, it has to be a dravya. Now, that is the argument, which means that if Brahman is jnana, then that is guna, then it should have a dravya as a base. Yadi niradharam nirashrayam ityadi agama balat ashrayam antarapi tad vartate iti abhyavagamyate. Then basing the argument with Shruti with from statements like niradhara nirashrayam, no, that jnana can exist without adhara and without ashraya, then let that anubhuti be only Brahman. There is no need for a dravya. Then the commentator says, Tarihi kamam agama baladeva tasya jnana gunakatvam api abhivagamyatam. Then we are going to state another agama that Shruti, that Atma or Brahman can have a guna also. अस्ति च अयम् आगमः पराशक्तिर्विविधैव श्रूयते स्वाभाविकी ज्ञानं फलक्रिया च. There is one more Shruti which says para asya shaktihi. Asya means brahmanah. So which means the Brahman has qualities. Shakti. Vividha eva shruyate. Swabhaviki. It is naisargiki. It is natural. And jnana bala kriya. So jnana bala kriya belongs to Brahman. So there is an agama or Shruti which say that Brahman does have jnana as a guna, as a dharma. So kamayata bahusyam prajayayeti. There is one more Shruti Vakya which says saha akamayata, that Brahman it desired, it willed. Therefore, all these indicate that Brahman does have, besides being a jnana swarupa, Brahman does have another jnana with which it can do the sankalpa. Idamatra avadheyam पदार्थजातं द्रव्यगुणकर्म सामान्याद्यात्मना विभजतां नैयायिकानां. Naiyayikas, what they do is that they accept 7 padarthas, dravya, guna, karma, etc. Okay, vibhajata naiyayikanam yata guna adravya bhutaha. But what they say is that guna is adravya bhuta. A guna cannot be a dravya. Very strictly they categorize. This can be a dravya, this can be a guna. No padartha can be both a guna and dravya. But asmakam, but for us, we don't have such a rule. Na tata asmakam siddhante. Asmakam siddhante, it is not like this. Yo yadashritya vartate satasya guna iti gunalakshanam. What is the gunalakshanam for us? Yaha yadashritya vartate. If you take something, whatever it has an ashraya and it exists, then that is considered to be a guna for the ashraya. Therefore, guna means the only condition is that it should exist somewhere, keeping that substratum as an ashraya. In this case, he says such a kvachit dravyam bhavati. In some places, it becomes a dravya. Yatha dandaha purushasya. Yatha dandaha purushasya. A person is having a stick in his hand, then the stick is seen as an attribute for the person, and it is a dravya. Stick is a dravya. Kvachit adravyam bhavati. In some places it is an adravya. Example, yatha shukladi rupam patasya. Shuklaha pataha. Now there are 2 cases where dandi purushaha is going to say. Now dandaha asya purushasya asti. A man is holding a danda, a stick. Then the combined knowledge would be dandi purushaha. Dandaha purushaha. Purushasya aste dandaha vidyate. Therefore we say dandi purushaha. This is the cumulative jnana there. And somewhere we have this jnana shuklaha pataha. Now tata guna gurinoho sambandhopi dvividaha. Then if you consider danda to be a guna for the purusha, then we have to split the relationship also into two. Pratak siddha sambandha, apratak siddha sambandhaschi, sambandhascheti, where the relation is pratak siddha, can be separated and it cannot be separated. Apratak siddha means cannot be separated. In the case of dandi purushaha, it is pratak siddha sambandha. In the case of shuklaha pataha, it is a apratak siddha sambandha. तत्र पृथक् सिद्ध सम्बन्धस्तरे मत्वर्थ प्रत्ययोगादेव गुणगुणिनोः सामानाधिकरण निर्देशः यथा दण्डी पुरुषः. Now in the case of dandi purushaha, the relationship is pratak siddha. Therefore we use matvartha and then so that to indicate that the person is with the danda. Because if you say dandaha purushaha, then we are not talking about the sambandha between danda and purusha. But when we say about dandi purushaha, then it gives a sambandha also that the purusha is holding the danda, or somehow the danda is connected to the purusha. There we make use of the matu pratyaya, matvartha pratyaya. Why? Because the sambandha is pratak. They can always be separated. Whereas apratak siddha sambandhastare tu matvartha pratyapeksha vinapi tayoho samanadhikaranyam yatha shuklaha pataha. Samanadhikaranyam means the usages have to indicate or they have to belong to the same substratum. Okay. Now dandi also refers to that person, purushaha also refers to that person. The same way shuklaha pataha, shukla also refers to the dravya, pata also refers to the dravya. Okay. The same way brahmanoyam, pinoyam ityadi. So without using matvartha pratyaya, here whenever there is a apratak siddha sambandha, we can straight away say place the words next to each other, still they would make a sense of togetherness. Just like in brahmanoyam pinoyam ityadi. Atra shukla rupa patayoho dehatmanoho cha apratak siddha sambandha. When you say brahmanaha ayam, both the words brahmanaha and ayam indicate a person. So these two have to be associated with one object, that is the person. Just like shuklaha pataha would be indicating one object. Whereas if you don't say dandi purusha and if you say dandaha purushaha, then what happens is there they may not relate to the same object. Therefore we make use of pratyaya, matvartha pratyaya and then say dandi purushaha. But in brahmanaha ayam pinaha ayam ityadi, we don't have to make use of the matvartha pratyaya. अत्र शुक्लरूपपटयोः देहात्मनोः च अपृथक्सिद्धसम्बन्धः प्रकृते च ज्ञानब्रह्मणोः अपृथक्सिद्धसम्बन्धात्. Now in the usage vijnanam brahma, all these are being associated or related to the shruti vakya. Vijnanam brahma, here also it is a aprythak-siddha-sambandha. The jnana that is possessed by the brahman and brahman cannot be separated. Therefore the vijnanam brahma, what it indicates is that vijnana or jnana is a dharma of brahman. Iti vyavaharaha iti eka gamanika. This is one way of understanding. Tata hyah sutrakaraha tadguna saratvat tadvyapadeshaha. This is a Brahma Sutra where the Sutrakara defends the usage of jnana, the term jnana, to refer to brahman or atma. Why? Because he is essentially of the nature of that guna. Tadguna saratvat tadvyapadeshaha. Therefore the term guna is used to indicate, jnanam is used to indicate brahman or atma. It is very interesting because Advaita, what they do is that they what they say is that the term vijnanam actually refers to antakarana and not jiva. So they endow the antakaranam with kartrutva, whereas here in Vishitadvaita, jnatritvam and kartrutvam, both and bhoktrutvam, all three are given to the jivatma. Okay. स्वयं प्रकाशत्व रूप प्रवृत्ति निमित्त पौष्कल्यात् तथा व्यवहार इति अन्या गमनिका इति. Now स्वयं प्रकाशत्व रूप प्रवृत्ति निमित्त पौष्कल्यात्, धर्मभूत ज्ञान, it what it does is it's स्वयं प्रकाश and it has its activity is expressed. I mean we are able to see the activity. So jnana is present and we are able to see the presence of jnana. Therefore this is the main dharma of the jiva. Therefore the jiva is being called as jnanam or vijnanam. So this is another way of giving an samadhanam. Tatra visheshantaramaha nityamiti. Now the karika, it says nityam. Look at the karika. It says tad dharma bhuta vijnanam nityam. He is bringing up that here nityamiti. Tat dharma bhuta jnanam nityeshu ishvarecha nityam utpada vinasharahitam. To the jivatmas and ishvara, it is nityam or does not have any origin or end. Ahacha shruti dharma bhuta jnanasya nityatvam. Shruti also, it talks about nityatva of dharma bhuta jnana. Yatha, this comes from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Na vijñatur vijñater viparilopo vidyate. Vijñatuhu vijñatehe. So vijñatuhu vijñati. Vijñata is the atma, vijñati is the jnana. Nahi drashtuhu drishtehe viparilopo vidyate. Again in the same context in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, drashtuhu drishtehe drishtihi. Therefore neither to the atma jnana nor to the dharma bhuta jnana there is a anityatva. Upabrahmanamapi, this is Vishnu dharma which says yathana kriyate jyotsna malaprakshalanat manehe dosha prahananna jnanam atmanah kriyate tata. There is a mani, there is a gemstone which is covered with dirt. When we clean up the dirt, it shines automatically. Swabhavika. We don't create the radiance also in the gem. We only clean the dirt. In the same way, in the Atma, why the jnana is not proceeding now? Because it is covered with dosha. When the dosha is removed, automatically the jnana it proceeds. We don't have to create jnana in the Atma. It is natural and it is nitya. Ityadi. Ishvarasya nitya surinam cha jnanam sada sarva vishya avagahi ityartaha. We will see that in the next session. To the Baddha Jiva, the Dharmabhuta Jnana, it changes. But for Ishvara and Nitya Suris, it is Nitya, it does not change, and it is capable of Sarva Vishya Bhagahi means it is capable of knowing everything, it is capable of showing everything, reaching everywhere or anywhere. That is the understanding. But this is true only for Jiva, Nitya Suris, and Ishvara. Okay. This karika will take up in the next class. Baddeshu tatviro bhutam mukteshu praktirohitam sankochan vikasabhyam nashotpatti vipaka bhag. Very complex and but interesting area, this dharma bhuta jnana. We need to go through perhaps one more time later and reflect more upon it. Only then we can have a better understanding. Any questions are there? You can ask me now. Hope the lecture was clear, audible. Looks like no questions. Let me wait for a minute and then we'll. Okay. Hope I made some sense in this session. It's okay. Then we'll meet next week. Vitarkikasimhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha. Dhanyavadaha.